Greetings, African people. Today I'm inviting you to my graduation. I'm graduating from the school of hard knocks. The school that when you get accepted in that place, you learn from your own mistakes and that of others. I am graduating from the idea that former slave colonizers are at any point in history, past or present, will ever have the best interests of the African or the enslaved persons. So I have learned from my history and from the things that I see. And for our friends and our allies, those who are not of our race, who have found ways to treat us with love and respect, I say blessings to those individuals. But those individuals are few and far between. And many persons who are now surprised about the 42 individuals who have been deported to Jamaica. I have been saying for a long time that at the end of the day, Africans are going to have to go back to where they come from. Asians will return to their roots. Europeans will go back to their roots. It's just how it's going to be. Now, the idea that England would send back people to Jamaica after spending 25, 30 years is shocking to many people. What is wrong with you? Why are you shocked? The Europeans, Great Britain, went into Africa, took black people out in chains and brought them to the West and used their slave labor to build these countries. And then you're turning around and saying that you're shocked that they would send them back to Jamaica. They have no problems in dismissing you and taking you out of your natural environment and using your labor and dismissing you. What is wrong with you? You can't remember, or you don't know, or you don't care. And the sad thing about it is, some of the Jamaicans that live in the UK that claim that they have citizenship, um, you know, are saying yes and celebrating that people are being sent home. I read one article where a person, I don't know if it's a male or female, is saying that they should deport the rest that are there that are not landed or not legal, and they should find them from around the world and send them back to Jamaica. A Jamaican person is saying this. But let me tell you something. Some of you Jamaicans that live in North America and live in UK who have the audacity to talk about you wanting to go to Jamaica and be buried there. How dare you? You want your dead carcass to come to Jamaica to pollute our land after you die. What? Is Jamaica a burying place? Because a lot of you will never go back. And I hope some of you never go back, because really, we don't need your spirit in that place. We need people who actually love themselves, love their community, who have spent time in their life doing and giving back to their own community. We don't need a bunch of, enslaved Negroes coming back with their dead carcass. Because many Jamaicans do not want to go back home. They just want to go there to be buried. Government of Jamaica, it's time for you to stop to say, we are not a burying ground. We're not going to bring dead salt people into our country to contaminate our land. If you don't love Jamaica and you're not making any investment in Jamaica, you're not contributing by even going to Jamaica every 3 or 4 years to spend some of your strong dollars to help to develop the country, then we don't need your carcass here. The churches should refuse to speak over your dead bodies. And there certainly shouldn't be any place to bury your old rotten bones. I digressed. The problem is not if these individuals committed crime, because I already spoke about that. The problem I'm discussing right now today, this very moment, at this day of graduation, is how Africans are treated with contempt and disrespect around the world. No one values us except for our physical labor. I don't know if it's because over the years we have been robbed and pillaged and kept back, and that we don't have much to offer, because most persons in the West and in Europe really see money as a tangible proof that they can see you as another human being and accept you. This is why individuals who live in this space who are rich, they get treated like brothers and seen as family. But black people in this space are not treated as family because we are broke. We don't have any money, you know. We have nothing to offer except our labor. And so we live in these spaces, and I have said this many times before, we work hard, contribute to the development of the nation, and at the end of the day, we have nothing left for our children or our children's children. So we are not indispensable. It's nothing for somebody to pick us and say, come here, and trick you into thinking you're going for one thing and get rounded up like herds and shipped off. It is wrong to pick up people and ship them to their country without making provisions for them. Now, I don't know the details of these agreements. I refuse to think that in 2016, the Jamaican government would really allow Great Britain to ship people home to Jamaica in this place that is suffering with so much debt. We are in so much debt in Jamaica. There's no health care, no free health care. Even when you can afford it, obviously they have no kind of confidence in their healthcare system, because as soon as something happens to one of these politicians or their families, they fly out to the United States or wherever to go get medical treatment. They have no trust in their own system. It's already broken. And you find people getting deported, mentally ill persons. One example of a man who was in the army, and he came back after fighting Great Britain's war with Afghanistan. This man comes back because of drugs that is given to him and loses his mind, and UK deports this individual. He doesn't want him to be a burden. I really don't feel sorry for that soldier, because black people have no business fighting, getting into warfare with individuals that didn't bother them. It's not your problem. Let them, like the individuals who have war with these individuals, let them deal with it. A Jamaican person whose ancestors were once slaves have no business going and killing people. I don't believe in war. I'm not going to put my mouth down. I don't like war. I don't support war. I don't like violence. Just like I don't support crime, I don't support violence. And I've said it before. The only time I'll support war is if someone tries to penetrate your borders, and you've got to do what you've got to do to protect your borders. But I don't support war. And if it means that individuals are going to judge me and say that I'm feeling sympathy for other people, I do. I don't like war. War is not necessary. It doesn't achieve anything, because the individuals who are warmongers, when you go after them, you're not finding them. You're killing innocent people and destroying a country and leaving that country to rebuild themselves. That's not right. The attitude of taking and doing what you like with other people is not a good one. But yet you are the first ones to come out here and hold individuals accountable. Great Britain have done some atrocities in the earth. They have done some very evil things in the world, killing and maiming and robbing from other people in this world. Great Britain have been responsible for some bad things, some terrible things. If they were trying to pay penance, they would not be able to. It's too much. Yet they are the first to pick up individuals and send them to Jamaica, ship them off with that cold callousness. Now, the thing is, I'm graduating today from the school that says, what the hell did you expect? What did you expect? I have my diploma. Here's my degree. A leper never changes his spot. If a chameleon masks itself in an environment and says to you that I'm not a chameleon anymore, I am a bird, it's not their fault, it's yours. Now, I was looking, I have one of those bags, those African bags. Some of these bags I see, these people were deported in Jamaica, they were carrying it. Shame. Do you think it's a coincidence that the people that were deported from Jamaica, when they were processed in that center and they were released to their families, some of whom don't have anyone to meet them because they have no family in Jamaica, they were carrying these bags. This is very symbolic, people. This is symbolic. This is a kind of bag you see in the African movies when the African person is shamed and disgraced and chased out of their village. Do you watch those African movies? Yeah, with those big red and white bags. These individuals had these bags, and you think this is a coincidence? This is Great Britain shaming black people once more. This is expelling you from your home, because for many of these persons, England have become their home. That's all the home they know. But if you have a history where you take individuals from their home and displace them, why do you think that spirit will not remain to this day? The same spirit that took the African out of Africa and sent them around the world and dismissed them and threw them out like dogs. To this day, the ancestors of those people in the United States of America continue to experience all kinds of exploitation and abuse. And those who are coming out of it, those who have managed to make their way out of trials and tribulation, have had to use strength, deep commitment and strength to doing better for themselves. It's surrounded, the world is surrounded with ghettos. What do you think ghettos? Look at the word, the spelling, get out. It's get out. Get out of this environment. Majority of the world's population, African people that is, live in ghettos. And the environment is toxic. The environment is such that you get the feeling that you want to come out, but you can't come out. You're get out, ghetto. You don't belong here, but you're stuck here. So as an immigrant, I live in this space, and for the most part, Canada provides certain things for its people, and I enjoy some of those benefits. But there are many individuals here who don't want me here, who would rather tell me to get out. And it's a grace. It's the grace of the Almighty why I'm not one of those individuals with one of these bags. That is not an accident. Watch it, and I'll find some links to put to this. Those persons leaving with their bags. That's all they have. That's all they have. You take an old woman out of her house at 60 years old, a woman who was in the process of getting her papers. She was not living there illegally because her husband was sponsoring her. And the 60-year-old woman, husband died before the papers came through, and police went to her house and kicked her door down and snatched her and sent her back home. Those things that happen to those individuals, those kind of person living in that country, probably law-abiding citizens. Some of these individuals who look down on Jamaica and scorn it and turn up their nose and say that they could never live there again. There are so many of us around the world. As soon as something happens in our country, we are the first ones to run out here and talk about how violent and horrible and beast-like our people are, and how we could never live there again. But I'm here to tell you that there's coming a time when Jamaica will be a paradise in comparison to some of these areas that we live. Jamaica will be paradise to some people in comparison to what some of these countries will have to offer. Because the focus is not on love and respecting people. The focus is on money. And money has no value. It have no true value. Money, in my opinion, is a genius way of taking people's things like land and minerals, using fake, something that is fake, something that's not real, that has no value. Fire comes and burn it. If you set a whole land on fire and you burn every house to the ground, the land is still there. That is what value is. Gold needs fire to purify it, to make it become beautiful. Paper is nothing. It has no value. So you could buy a house and you don't get a dime in your hand. The bank takes care of transactions for you because the money has no real value. It's an exchange for something that is more valuable. what has happened to us is because we didn't learn. These shoes belong to my children. My 21-year-old daughter, when she was 2 months old, I bought this for her. I bought these shoes for my 26-year-old child. She wore it. She passed it down to her second sister, and my last child wore this. I paid $100 for these shoes in a Italian place, and I thought I was mad at the time to buy that shoes because it was expensive, but it was a good investment. Invest in your country, Jamaican people. Invest in your country if you can. Some of us try to do that and at a loss, but if you can and you have people you can trust, invest in your country. This shoes belongs to my now 9-year-old kid. All of these shoes are at their different levels of growth. They used to play with toys. They don't play with toys anymore because you grow. Black people do not grow. You know, when you're pregnant, you buy this book to be educated. What to expect when you're expecting. And it gives you the different levels and stages of growth in the womb and what to expect when the child comes. Black people, what are you expecting? When you have a history and you've gone through many stages in growth and you see the same thing happening over and over. When you see what happened in your foreparents' history, why are you surprised and shocked that Great Britain would dismiss people, sending them out of the village, sending them back actually to the village, packed with nothing but shame? That's what has happened to the African people. But we don't know nothing about that, do we? Or we just don't care. Be blessed, African people. Think on these things.